Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Given a good reason, I did not stop. I was given many good reasons to stop, many good reasons to stop. I never slowed down, never tapped the brake. Saw no point in it, made no sense to me whatsoever. It was the only thing in my life from the age of 12 on that made me comfortable standing where I was standing, doing what I was doing with the people I was doing it with. I saw no reason to stop. It was the only thing in the world, drinking it was the only thing in the world that made me comfortable being me. And I did it into the dirt. By the time I got sober, I'd been at 16 years. My family was all dead. I had watched them die, bleed to death in front of me. I had not been a member of a family or a community since the age of 12. I had about 600-700 stitches in me, had broken 75 bones. I was 215 pounds. I was yellow. I was psychotic, and I don't use the term loosely. I could not distinguish between fantasy and reality. I mean, I would come to somewhere under some sort of bizarre circumstances, and a thought or image would cross my mind, and I didn't know whether I had done that or thought that or dreamt that or if somebody told me that or if I'd seen that on TV. I had no idea. It was all this great mad blur, and I was losing what little grasp of reality I had. I weighed 215 pounds. I had hair out like this, a beard out like this. I was yellow, and I burned it to the ground. There was nothing left. Family dead, no friends, no place to live, no money. Blah, 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 blah. I ended up here. Through the ambulance rides and the stomach's getting pumped and you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're dead. You're going to die again, you're going to die again. And here I was. And I came here because I didn't come here because I wanted what you had. I had no idea what you had. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know, I'd known I was an alcoholic and a drug addict for years, so what's your point? I don't get it, what's Alcoholics Anonymous about? What are they doing in there? I didn't have any idea what you were doing in here. I was horrified of the thought of being clean and sober and sitting down in a room full of people and having them come up and ask me the simplest of questions. And so someone would come up to me and say, "Hi, how are you?" This wasn't information I had that was available to me. I didn't know. How are you? Or have we gone too far already? It was like, "How you doing?" I don't know. I was horrified by the whole deal. And I sat in the back with my arms folded, with my best tough guy look on my face. And we all know I'm a real tough guy. I've been afraid of everything and everybody my whole life. I've been extremely violent in my life. I've been stabbed a couple of times, shot at, all deservedly. It's the truth. I would have stabbed me too. And it had nothing to do with being tough. It had to do with being a frightened human being. That's all it had to do with. An extremely frightened human being. And when I got here, all my old tools for living were gone. I couldn't drink, I couldn't use, I couldn't run, I couldn't be violent. It was over. And I just sat in the back terrified. And a guy came up to me and he said, "Hi, I'm Vegas, I'm an alcoholic." And I said, "So what, man? Me too, And it ain't the highlight of my life. I don't know what you're so happy about. Get away from me. And he looked at me and he did that newcomer thing, That deep AA, gonna lay the big spiritual one on you right now. And he leaned over and he looked at me and he said, "Keep coming back." And a couple of guys standing by went, "Oh, you see that?" It was like, "Keep coming," beautiful. Gave him the keep. And I'm standing there. You know, and I'm standing there thinking, this is good. This is good. Great. Thank you very much. You obviously understand the deep spiritual significance to keep coming back. These other guys do. You probably all do. I have no idea what you're talking about. So once again, you win. I lose. I'm the loser. Lovely to be in Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks a lot. I'm going to leave and go home and at 3 o'clock kill myself. It's just, AA's working for me. Thanks. Like these little ditties that they throw at you, you know what I mean? I hated them. I hated all of them. Keep coming back one day at a time. My favorite one was, hey, turn it over. Just turn it over. What does that mean? I mean, yeah. And I got to tell you, this is my opinion. If this is just my opinion, but it's just my opinion. But if you're new, and somebody gives you the deep look, and lays one of the little ditties on you, just step up and say, excuse me. I don't understand the deep spiritual significance of turn it over. You mind expanding on that for me a little bit? My experience is if you tell the truth, about 70, 80% of them would say, you know what, I don't know what it means either. I came in, they said it to me, you walk in, I say it to you, I don't know what it, There's a guy over there, though, that reads the big book. Maybe he knows. We'll ask him. God. So I kept coming back anyway because I had no other place to go. And I kept coming back. And the first meeting, a guy got up and he spoke, and he gave me something I hadn't had for years. He got up and he talked openly and honestly about his feelings as a man. And I had never heard anybody do that before. And he did it with grace, and he did it with dignity, and he did it with humor. And I thought, that's amazing that he could talk so honestly like that, so openly about what was going on with him in his life. I was astounded by that. And then it was like he looked right at me and he said, I don't care whether you like what I got to say or not. You don't like it, go to another meeting. I loved that because it made it clear to me that he wasn't selling me something. He was sharing it with me. If I wanted it, I could have it. It was mine. Take it. If I didn't want it, that's cool. Go to another meeting. Maybe you'll hear something there that'll be a benefit to you. I thought, this place is cool, and I'm coming back. And I've been coming back for 15 and a half years, one day at a time. And I haven't had to go out at all during that time. I hung out and I listened to the things that they told me to do in AA. They said, get a sponsor. What's a sponsor? I said, a sponsor is somebody who's got what you want, Earl. And I said, well, I'd like to drink. So maybe it's a little early to be throwing the ball back in my court. You know what I mean? Maybe we ought to try something else. And I couldn't find a sponsor, and there was this woman, Alexis. Originally, she was Marcia. She became Alexis. How unusual in AA, right? And she said, have you ever heard of this guy named Donald Madden? And I got this chill because I'd been in a business meeting a year and a half earlier, and this man had been in this meeting. He was a set designer for one of the producers in the meeting, and he had broken his anonymity in that business meeting. He had been anonymous with them for 6.5 years, working with them for 6.5 years. They had no idea he was in AA. And he broke his anonymity that night to let me know there was a place called AA, and that if I didn't get there, I was going to die, and gave me his business card. And I remember thinking, it was very kind. A little dramatic, but kind. And I took his business card. And when you're out there in it, you just get the business cards, and, you don't keep the business. It's a business card. What do I need that for? I'm not doing any business, And a year and a half later, I'm in AA, and this name gets mentioned to me, and I get this cold, creepy feeling. I thought, that's weird. And I go home, and I open up my book to the M page, and there's one business card, paperclip there, and it's Donald Madden's card. I thought, this is weird. I'm having one of those spooky things going on, right? And I called him up, and he answered the phone. The way he answered the phone, Donald Madden. And I said, hi, Donald, you probably don't remember me. My name's Earl Hightower. And he said, oh, yes, I do. I said, well, I'm in AA now, and I'd like to talk. He said, be in my office at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Click. And I went, and I asked him to be my sponsor, and he was my sponsor up until July 25th, 1994, the day he died. And I was with him longer than I was with my parents. He was the single most important human being of my life. He rebuilt me personally, rebuilt me from the ground up. He went so far beyond anything you would ask of a sponsor. It was unbelievable. I mean, he taught me how to be self-supporting through my own contributions in the world. He would lift me up when I needed lifting up. He'd knock me down when I needed to be knocked down. I talked to him every day. He was there for me every day. And when he would say, go get somebody and take him to a meeting, and I would go get somebody bitching, I'd go, Lewis is standing on the corner of 6th and Santa Monica, pick him up and take him to a meeting. And I'd get in my little Volkswagen and I'd drive over there, and Louis would get in the car, and I'd have a year and a half sober, and Louis would get in the car and go, hi, I'm Louis, I got 6 days and I got a job and my wife took me back and it's good and everything, and I'm like, Louis, shut up, Louis. Louis, I got to take you to the meeting. I'll take you to the meeting. And if you want to ride back, I'll give you a ride back. But shut the fuck up, Louis. I hated Louis. Louis has 6 days, and Louis doing better than I am. You know what I mean? I'm still standing in the back, caving in on myself in meetings. I mean, I'm not one. I didn't blossom quickly in AA. You know what I mean? I was the guy that stood in the back. I never took a chip. Are you crazy? Get up and take a chip and have something and say something that made sense? Not going to happen. I didn't take a cake till I was 3 years sober. That was the first cake I took. I took a cake for 3 years at the Wednesday night wrist slashers meeting. I liked that meeting. I didn't open my mouth in AA for 2.5 years, and the only reason I did is because Donald told me you could do it or drink, so I did it. That was the only reason that I opened my mouth around here. I didn't come in gracefully. It was a slow go for me. I didn't get into the steps until I was 6.5 years sober. I got into the book for the first time with Christopher, my closest friend, who's sitting right over there. He said, he called me up one day and said, I think I found something. What's that? He goes, there's a book. He had 8 years. I had 6.5. I said, let's read this thing. So we got together, and we're reading through this book, and we're going, yeah, really seen that? I remember. I've heard that in meetings. It's right in there. It's good. I'm reading along, and I got this. And every once in a while we'd stop and go, that thing, it's here. It's right here. It's in here. Do you believe? Right there. It's here. Right in the book. And that happened. We realized there's this triangle with a circle around it. Ancient spiritual symbol, mind, body, and spirit brought together as a whole human being. Therein lies the balance that I'd been seeking in my life. Never had it, drunk or sober. Never had any balance. I was victim, assassin. Victim, assassin. I was never just fine. How are you? I did the newcomer mantra. You know what I mean? I did the newcomer mantra. How you doing, Earl? Fine. What'd you think of that meeting? It was fine. All right, I'm fine. And inside, it was so loud in my head. I remember standing in the back of Ohio Street one night when Donald had was the secretary of Saturday Night Ohio. It was this great high-energy meeting, a lot of sobriety. It was a great AA meeting. And I was standing in the back, and I was just caving in. I just couldn't get another step. And I was just, you're no good. You're never going to be any good. You're a piece of shit. There's no point in doing this. And I was sinking in, man. I was going. And the guy was speaking. He was at the meeting, sat at a big meeting, big-time speaker up there. He's speaking away. Donald gets up. He walks up to the front of the room. He pushes the speaker to the side. He steps up to the podium, and he goes, Earl! And I'm in the back of the meeting, came in, and I just, And he says, we're having a meeting. And I went, right. And then, nobody knows me because I haven't said a word since I've been there. And everybody's looking around going, who the hell is Earl? What the okay, I'm with you. And he just brings the speaker back and goes and sits down. That was the kind of guy he was. He saw me. He knew what I was doing. That was me in AA. It was just a nightmare from the gate. And then now we got this book thing we got to do, and we're going through the book, and it's this mind, body, spirit balance. I had no balance. I was crazy, 6.5 years sober. I've got 2 panels I'm taking out. Christopher got me to take a panel out to the San Fernando Valley Juvenile Hall, right? And I thought he was doing the same thing. He stopped I was out there for 2 years after he stopped doing it. I'm just driving out the San Fernando thing, doing that one. I got the thing down at I got the panel down at the L.A. County, at the hospital. The county hospital. I got the front of the disease, the beginning of the disease, the kids, and I got the end of the line, right? Every month I'm seeing it. Every month I'm seeing it. I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm going to 7 to 9 meetings a week. I'm talking to my sponsor every day. I got commitments. I'm not turning down AA requests. I'm actually sponsoring people. These poor guys I'm sponsoring, right? They're looking at me like, what should we do? And I'd say, go to a meeting. Call your sponsor. I just did. I'm calling you. Well, then go to another meeting. I don't know. I was out of my mind. And we get into the book, and it's like AA adopted this symbol, and it was the balance that we were looking for. The unity was the body. I had to keep coming here. I had to be with you. I had to stay with my people. I can't get sober, but we can. I had to stay connected. I'd been alone way too long. No family, no friends, no way to live, no place to live, no money. Quiet, just quiet in here. Hopeless, losing my mind out there, burning it to the ground, coming in here and trying to rebuild it just one little step at a time. The fact that I had a friend like Christopher was remarkable. I would sit in the rooms and I would hear the speakers. I would hear Bob talking. I would say, if he can stay here, I can stay here. I got hope from him. I would hear other guys. Al would talk. Al S. would talk, and I would get hope from him. You know, these guys, Johnny H. would talk, and I would get hope from him. You know, Chuck C. would talk, and I would get hope from him. You know, Donald, I would call Donald every day, and I would get hope from Donald. Donald would say, you know, I'd call in the beginning and he'd say, how are you? And I'd say, oh, Jesus, I'm losing my mind. And he'd say, I know. And he'd talk to me for a little while. 2-3 years down the line, he'd call me and he'd say, how you doing, baby? I'd say, well, you know, it's okay. You know, yeah, well, you know, and the conversation would get a little shorter. By the time I was 6, I called him up and he said, how are you, baby? And I said, well, I'm pretty good. He goes, of course you are, you're sober. Click. You know? That one's fine. I'm not wasting a word on him. We'll go to the next one, you know, because there was a line of us flowing through there every day, right? So the unity's the body, I got to bring it here. The recovery's of the mind, the greater aspect of my disease. I mean, it's not about stopping using for any of us anymore. It's about not starting again. How do we stay here? How do we not be that woman that woman talked about with 10 years who went out, drank, and killed herself? How do I not become her? How do I not become one of those statistics? How do I stay here? I got to deal with the greater aspect of my disease, the obsession of the mind. The persistence of this illusion, this belief in a lie that I can drink like the normal individual is astonishing. Many of us pursue it to the gates of insanity and death. I've been to the gates. I don't want to go back there anymore. I've been tagged. I've been tagged. I have been locked down. I don't want to be there anymore. Don't want to go there anymore. So I got to deal with the obsession of the mind. What do? Work the 12 steps. That's what they're designed for. That's why they're there. To relieve the obsession to drink and use. To restore me to sanity, soundness of mind. Relieve me the obsession to drink. So step 1 is, what's the problem? Lack of power is my dilemma. I'm powerless over alcohol and all other mind-altering chemicals, and my life is totally unmanageable as a result of that. I accept that as the problem in my life. The solution to that problem is a power greater than myself that could restore me to sanity, soundness of mind. Knowing what my problem and my solution are, I know I better make a decision to do something about this, because if I don't, I'm going to use. So in the 3rd step, I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. Oh, that's what you turn over. Got down on my knees, said the 3rd step prayer, got back up. Said in the book right after that, it said, we hope you were serious about that, which I thought was a really shitty place to put that. You know, you'd think they'd put that in like the foreword or something, you know, before you're like on the track. You know what I mean? And the little card on the roller coasters, click, 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 click. And they say, we hope you were serious, just as the clicking stops, you know. Yeah, me too. I hope I was serious about that. And they say, because this is all for naught, man. It's 1, 2, 3, drink, unless you embark upon a plan of rigorous action right now. Got to get with it. What do you got to do? Got to do an action plan, a 4-column. I got to do 4 through 9. I got to do a 4-column inventory in resentment, fear, and sex. I got to swallow large chunks of truth about myself. I got to see the patterns in my life. I got to see how I'm behaving out there. 5, I got to have another individual involved in this 12-step process. Now I got to bring another guy in the house. So far, I haven't left the house. 1, 2, 3. I'm on the couch. I haven't done anything. I do this inventory. So a guy comes in the house. I read this stuff to another human being before God. That's my 5th step. I sit down for an hour when I'm done with that. I review the first 5 proposals. You know what I mean? Am I standing on solid ground? If so, proceed. Guy leaves the house. I mean, it's me again. 6 and 7, I hook it back up with God. 8 and 9, there's a lot of conversation in the book about 8 and 9 because they're going to let me out of the house now. They're going to let... They're going to actually let me around other people. I'm going to get around other people. And there's a lot in there. It's very, very clear about what to do because they know I'm armed with a little bit of information and how dangerous I can be with that. So I run out of the house. I say, I'm very, very sorry. Here's your money. And I go back in the house. I got 10, 11, and 12 to keep me in the game. 10, 11, and 12 keep me moving in the game. Keep me here. Keep me doing it. Reinvesting, reinvesting, reinvesting. 10 is me, 11 is God, 12 is you. Trust God, clean house, help others. There is no one else to play with. That's the whole ball game right there. I keep my side of the street clean, and when I'm wrong, I promptly admit it.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think.
I have to do that. I do it sometimes. I don't do it sometimes. I work the steps sometimes. I don't work the steps sometimes. I do the right thing sometimes. I don't do the right thing sometimes. I'm appropriate sometimes. I'm inappropriate sometimes. I'm a fucking human being, and I'm doing the best I can, man. I am in the game because I'm clean and sober, because I'm with you. And so I get to fail my way to success. I get to screw up one relationship after another on my way to the beautiful thing I'm looking for. So I gotta try and keep my side of the street clean. And it's a good step for me to have around because I'm screwing it up all the time. I get on your side of the street all the time. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, there I go again. All right. Sorry, I'm going to stay on my side of the street. You know what? You shouldn't behave like that. Oh, there I go again. I got to get back on my side of the street. My only New Year's resolution for the last 3 years has been more acceptance, less judgment. More acceptance, less judgment. That's the one for me. If I can just keep it simple like that and try to get that improved every year, I'm doing great. So I do that with step 10. Step 11 is my relationship with God. It's an action step. I seek God. I don't sit around waiting for God to knock on my door. Because it seems like whenever God does that, it's like whenever God's like having a slow day, you know? And it's like, we haven't annihilated Earl in a couple of months. Let's just zap Earl. So rather than just get that kind of attention, I'll seek God. Hey, I'm here. I'm trying to behave, all right? No nuclear weapons in my direction, please. Had enough. So I seek God. How do I seek God? Through prayer and meditation. What do I pray for? Knowledge of His will for me and the power to carry that out. That's it. That's it. Anything else, problems. Anything else is problems. Anything else is a self-inflicted wound. I used to do a lot of that. It's like, God, she's very, very pretty. What do you think? God, I love that car. What do you think? God, this amount of money. What do you think? Forget it. It's just an illusion. It's all an illusion. This stuff out here ain't ever going to make me whole. It is never going to quiet the demons. It is never going to put the beast to sleep. It's never, ever, ever going to do it. I know because I've had the good fortune in my life to have all the stuff possible that could make you okay, and it didn't. And I'm very grateful to have had the experience that it didn't. It didn't make me okay. I know what it's like to be absolutely miserable and hopeless in Bel Air, with all the cars parked outside and the boat in the marina and the houses in Palm Springs and the cash in the basement and all, and dying. And I also know what it is to be blissfully happy in a one-bedroom apartment where if you go outside and stand up on the deck and look really, really hard, you could see a little tiny piece of the ocean. Couldn't be happier. And everything, so it ain't out here. It's got to be in here. So I seek God, and I seek God through prayer and meditation. I pray for knowledge of His will for me and the power to carry that out, because the buzz for me comes in connecting with other human beings, in recognizing that the distance between me and you does not separate me from you, it joins me to you. And looking at life and the living of it in a whole new way that's got a real buzz to it that I never had before. Why do I meditate? To quiet the mind so that when the answers come, I can hear them. The third side of the triangle is the 12th step. Having had a spiritual awakening is the result of the steps. It's the only reason I did them. I can practice these principles and carry the message. I can be of service. Third side of the triangle, service. So my relationship with you becomes how can I help as opposed to what do you got for me? Not because I'm a good guy, but because I want to stay sober, because I don't want to die. I don't think Alcoholics Anonymous is about love. I don't think it's about acceptance. I don't think it's about tolerance. I don't think it's about all this stuff that people come up with, and I don't know where they get it. I think Alcoholics Anonymous is about staying sober. It says the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. True. However, if you'd like to stay, there's some other suggestions that they make that might be a good idea. And if I do those things, if I engage the principles that are outlined in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, what happens is that in order to stay sober, my primary goal, I bump into all kinds of love and tolerance and acceptance and forgiveness. I run into, my goals change. Instead of being a rich man, I realize that I am a rich man. And that when I believe that if I gave you love, that you would love me, that's not the way it works. If I was respectful to you, that you would be respectful to me. If I told you the truth, you'd tell me the truth. That's not the reward that I was expecting. What it is that if I'm loving towards you, what I become is a loving man. That's the reward. If I'm honest with you, what I become is an honest man. What you do is what you do. The result, what I get is the result of my actions, not the result of yours. It's all changing for me. It's all changing for me. I've had the worst 2 years you could possibly have. They list the 10 most stressful things a human being can endure. I did 7 of them in 18 months. People dying left and right, divorce. My sponsor died. Oh, God. I moved. I got real sick. I changed careers. It was madness. I would wake up in the morning and I would go, I don't recognize my life. I don't recognize my life. I can't find an anchor. I can't find a place where I feel comfortable. It was uncomfortable and ill at ease all the time. And what I did was I kept getting up every day and using the tools that are available to me. I kept calling up my friends. I turned myself in over and over and over again. I got a new sponsor. Things have changed. I woke up at 15 years sober, November 6th of last year. It said, based on how you're feeling, will you be sober in 5 years? And for the first time in my sobriety, the answer was no. So between that, in the next 6 months, I got a sponsor, actually started talking to him periodically, which was a big improvement. Changed careers, finalized my divorce. Some people that were in my life are no longer in my life. Quit smoking, cut my hair off, fixed my teeth, went to the gym. You know what I mean? Little tiny things that think, what's that have to do with anything? It has to do with me saying, okay, I have self-worth. I deserve this. I deserve this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. These insights, these things that inside my head that prompted me to go this way as opposed to this way were the things that I learned in here, the principles in here that have huge ramifications in all areas of your life. This stops being about drinking and using pretty quick. And it starts being about a design for living and how you're going to be in the world and how you're going to meet life on life's terms, how you're going to take the direct hits, how you're going to face it head on, and how you're going to come out with your head up, your shoulders back, your hands together, moving forward with some humility, the willingness to learn, to remain a student, and to keep going, to say, I'm okay. I'm going in the right direction. I got a life. I got hope. I got clarity. I got passion for the life I'm living. I'm more comfortable being Earl than I've ever been in my life. I got people in my life that know who I am and love me, and I love them back. I spoke at a meeting last night, and I said, you know what? There's people in this room that I am absolutely defenseless in the face of. I have no defenses against some of the people in this room. I've let the guard down. They're in. I accept that they're in me. I was the one who swore he'd never love another human being again as long as he lived. There was no way I would ever tell you who I am. There's no way you're going to love me. And that's all gone. AA picked my pocket like a thief in the night, robbed me of my anger, robbed me of my separateness, robbed me of my uniqueness, took away my loneliness, took away all those, my hopelessness is gone, took all those things away from me, and now I feel those things on a relatively normal human level. I get lonely. I get afraid. I act on the fear as opposed to the love that's in my heart sometimes. I do all of those things, but you know what? It's getting better every goddamn day. Some good days, some bad days. Some good days, some bad days. 15 and a half absolutely wonderful years. Life beyond my wildest dreams. If you knew, stop fucking around. Jump in this thing, man. Jump in this thing. Find the people that got the fire in their eyes, got the passion for living their lives. Find the people who've got what they want. Find the people that get up in the morning and are excited about hitting it. Excited about hitting it. What's going to happen today? You'd be amazed at shit that goes on. This last week has been amazing. There were twice yesterday I had to stop and had to say, I'm having an amazing day. Stuff, it was amazing. It was an amazing day. Today was an amazing day. I'm having a very, very good time. If you would like to have a good time, it's in here. But you got to jump in. You got to jump in and you got to ante up. You got to do the stuff. Unity's the body, bring it here. Recoveries of the mind, get in the book and work the steps. Having had that spiritual awakening, and you will have it as a result of that, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, start giving it away. Give it to the new guy coming in. Give it to the guy who's coming in who doesn't know how he's going to get to bed clean. They're all over the place, man. Just find them. When you're in here a little bit, you'll spot them. You'll spot them. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with, and it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs, long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. Shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down. And then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.